Hi guys, I'm Dee Myrick. Thank you for clicking on my video. So I have an awesome video to share with you guys, an awesome testimony. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you know that in May I posted a video of myself running through Walmart. And I was able to share my testimony in a short caption, but I really never got to go into detail. And I want to take the opportunity today to do that because it's just a miraculous happening and it's just too awesome just to keep to myself. So here it goes. If you know anything about my backstory, you know that I was born or diagnosed as an infant with cerebral palsy. And as I got older into my adolescence, my health and my body began to shut down. Like literally like one body part after the other. First my feet, then my ankles, then my knees. And I was able to do it, and pain just became a part of my everyday life. It became something I was used to. My knees would swell out, my ankles would give out, but that's just what I was used to. And that's what I experienced in college. But by the time I got to my mid-20s, it just seemed like my body is failing and everybody could see it. And there was nothing that I could do. And my doctors were giving me no hope. And I was just like, well, there has to be something. And as a child of faith, I would say, these doctors don't know what they're talking about. They don't know my God. And then the years would keep going, and then I would lose faith. And I agreed to have this surgery in 2009 on my foot that was supposed to ease the pain and help me walk a little better. But it went south. It really did. And my health deteriorated even more, where I needed back injections. I was prescribed medication I did not want to take because I'm not a big medication person. It didn't make me feel like myself, and I was just anxious. And at that point I was just like, God, what about me? And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Why am I a woman of faith? Why am I going through this? I believe you. I believe the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I believe the healings all throughout the Bible. Why not me? I would go into healing services and then walk out of healing services in the same condition, and I grew frustrated. I couldn't even sit through church anymore, and I love the worship. I love sitting in the presence of God, and I just couldn't do it. And it just felt like I couldn't like to sit there, and I had to leave early, and it was just really uncomfortable, and I was miserable. And I asked God, I said, if you give me an opportunity to step out on faith, I'll do it. So in early May, while I was on vacation, the first night actually, I had injections, I had an ice pack, I had a wheelchair, I had a heating pack, I had all these things while I was on vacation. And that night I went to sleep and I woke up from my dream. And in this dream, I was running, and I could literally feel my breath. I was like so excited. And I was like, this is it. This is God speaking to me. I have to take it. I have to step on faith. But I waited a couple of days. And I finally went up to the gym. I was by myself. I grabbed the treadmill, and I was right next to the mirror. And I watched my feet begin to run. And this is the same foot, the same feet that my doctor said I would never be able to run. I have screws in my feet, so it's supposed to be impossible. And yet I was running, and it was such a beautiful experience. And I didn't want like anybody to talk me out of it. I was just like, shocked and in disbelief, which I shouldn't have been, but I just kept it to myself, and I didn't tell anyone until the vacation was over. So when I told my family, they said, you ran? And I was like, yeah, I ran. Like, you didn't, it wasn't metaphorical. You didn't run after your dreams. Maybe that's what the dream was about. And I said, no, I literally ran one foot after the other. And they said, okay, like kind of believably, kind of not. And I never pushed it. And so I even myself started to doubt what happened that day. But again, God is, a God of grace. And he gave me another opportunity. And that May 29th, that Sunday, I woke up in my spirit just like the dream. And I knew that I was going to run that day. I just knew it. So I went to church. Now, normally I haven't been able to sit through a church service in years. My back gives out. I have to have pillows or sit in a different type of chair. I can't sit in the pews. And my back is usually in a lot of pain, where even if I sit through a service, I'm out of commission for like the rest of the week, and there is nothing that I can do. So I had to stretch myself. But I believed what God told me. And I sat through one service and then another. And then finally, I even ministered to someone. So I was pushing myself in other ways too. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, out of the pews, and actually ministered to someone, a visitor that came to the church. So then afterwards, I went to visit a church, and that was another 45-minute drive and another maybe hour-long service, and I did it. But that wasn't all. That wasn't all that God had planned. So we went to go to Walmart. Now, normally I use a motorized scooter when I go to big stores, when I go to huge malls. That's what I use. But I didn't use any of that. And when we came out of the store, it was raining. And, you know, my cousin was playing around. He didn't know. I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him I was going to run that day. So he said, come on, Dee, let's run. Let's run to the car. And I literally, at his words, like, I put my bag down and I took off because I knew it was my opportunity to show that what God had done in my life really happened. And I needed it. I needed to step out on faith. And I ran all throughout the parking lot. My cousins were praising God and they were cheering me on. And it was just really, really it was really beautiful. So that was the day that I ran. And we went to my church, not to my church, but we went and we got in the car and we headed over to my grandmother's house, and everybody was there. And everybody saw what God had done because I ran in the house. And everybody was there, from my great aunts, all the babies, the people that we never see, you know, on a regular basis, were there because they needed to see. And I needed to do that. I needed to face, you know, my own fears and not doubt God. So my message is pretty clear today, that if God gave you a vision, a promise, stand on it. Regardless of what's going on in your life, stand on faith. Do that. And if you are going through something similar, like I was, and your body is racked with pain, know that my God is a healer. And you can trust in him and stand on his word and stand in your deliverance. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's easy, but I can say that I'm doing things I haven't done in years. There's a level of pain that is gone. I'm able to sit through services, and I don't need a pillow. I don't need assistance. I'm able to go on long walks. I'm able to run. It's completely awesome, and it's all because of God. So stand on your faith and stay encouraged. Until next time, I'll be seeing you, I'll be praying for you, and I love you. Bye.